As the hunt for other missing passengers continued and inquiries about why the super yacht sank so swiftly grew, divers looking for the remains of the vessel that capsized off the coast of Sicily on Wednesday found at least one body. One of the rescue boats that arrived at Portia cello had a corpse bag that was unloaded by divers and rescue teams. The finding proved that the mission, which involved searching the debris 50 meters, 164 feet, below the surface, was one of recovery rather than rescue. The 56-meter, 184-foot, British-flagged yacht, the Bayesian, was anchored about a kilometer, a half-mile, offshore when it capsized early on Monday due to a storm. According to civil protection officials, they think the ship was hit by a waterspout, a tornado that crosses the water, and swiftly sank. A nearby sailboat helped the 15 individuals who managed to escape in a lifeboat. Recaldo Thomas, the chef on board who was born in Antigua, was the only body found on Monday. The British computer tycoon Mike Lynch, his 18-year-old daughter, and friends who had successfully defended him in a recent U.S. federal fraud trial were among the 6 persons who were still missing. Even though no formal suspects have been publicly identified, investigators from the Termini Imerese Public Prosecutor's Office were gathering evidence for their criminal investigation, which they launched right away following the tragedy. Many wonder why the super yacht, which was constructed in 2008 by the Italian shipyard Perini Navi, sank so rapidly in light of the fact that the neighboring Sir Robert Baden-Powell sailboat remained virtually unscathed and was able to save the 15 people who survived. Could it have been just a strange waterspout that threw the ship over and let water in through the open hatches? How was the keel positioned, which would have been retractable on a big yacht like the Bayesian so it could reach shallower ports? Editor of the Journal of Sailing Technology and Fellow of the Royal Institute of Naval Architects, Jean-Baptiste Soupez commented, "There's a lot of uncertainty as to whether it had a lifting keel and whether it might have been up. However, in the event that it had, that would have diminished the ship's stability, making it simpler for it to capsize on its side," he stated in an interview. Watertight subcompartments that are specifically engineered to prevent a swift and catastrophic sinking, even in the event that some components fill with water, are another requirement for yachts like the Bayesian. It is likely that water was taken on board quickly, but there are also multiple locations along the vessel's length that suggest it may have been rolled over on its side. Soupez stated, explaining why the ship would sink so quickly. In the meantime, hazardous and time-consuming underwater searches were carried out by Italian Coast Guard and fire rescue divers. Tag teams of divers are only able to search for 12 minutes at a time due to the wreck's depth, which is much deeper than most recreational divers are certified for, and at a depth that necessitates particular safeguards. The restricted dive time is partly intended to prevent decompression sickness, sometimes referred to as the bends, which can happen when divers ascend too quickly after spending extended periods of time beneath and enable bubbles made of dissolved nitrogen gas in their blood to form. Scuba Magazine's editor Simon Rogers once stated, "The longer you stay, the slower your ascent has to be." According to him, the short recovery time after each dive implies that the operations managers are attempting to minimize hazards and recovery time.